Okay, spectral analysis on this says it is biology. This is exactly what that is. Even the little dimple right in the center is the same as that little dimple right there. I'm going to show it in the microscope and you shall see. That's what it is right there. You see it? This is an anchor ball from a tendon enthesis, they call it. Now, I do have some other meteorites here. These are little iron ones. They're magnetic, and I showed these the other day, and they have biology still in them. And I did the catalase test on them, and they just foamed up like crazy. You know what? I got the big one. I didn't do that yet. We'll do it right now. And as crazy as it sounds, I have virtually every body part there is. I have bones. I have my buddy here, Caesar the goose. I have lungs and hearts and everything you can think of. I mean, they're all body parts. They come out. I have this giant finger that came through space and a terrestrial one. They're both virtually identical, only this one didn't come through space. I'll show it to you in the microscope. But you see all the fabric. You see here, you can even see the hook. You see this hook? You see that hook? Same thing. You see that? That's the artery, the vein, and that's the vein. See that little black spot right there? That's the vein. There's a vein up here. They don't blow out. The red ones blow right out, the artery side. See them? Both of them is the exact same thing. Blown out. Well, this one leaked out. And this one blew out. Even this right here is the same as that right there. You see it? It's exactly identical. There's no difference whatsoever between, except this one came through space. Will it have good solid DNA and enzymes left in it? Will the catalase react? I don't know. I imagine it will. We'll find out. We'll try it on both of these. Now this one I don't know if we can get it, because the tendon balls, they're tough, man. They're hard to find blood coming out of them. They're anchors, and there's very little biology to them. They're really just like a stony ball. Let's take a look. Alright, there's the ball. It's in the microscope. The microscope's way up there. Alright, now here it is up in the camera shot. Now I have it just shadowed right now. Sometimes the best thing to do is to shadow it and see the contour, which you should be able to see. Alright, this is a cavity. Now, let me bring up, I'm going to close this shadow off a little bit and bring up the regular light. You see it? This is the outline of where the attachment went in, and I'll show you that anatomically in a minute, but just so that you no way you can miss it. It's right here. You see that? They come around here. It's a little bit distorted maybe over there. But let's turn off the lights and see if you can see it again. You see it? That's where it is now. So let's turn the lights back up and let's get that out of the way. That is what that ball has for an anchor. Now, let me put a little water on there and we'll try a little catalase. Well, you know what? I'm not going to put any water on it. This thing's been sitting here probably 10 years. I'm just going to put a little catalase right on there and see what happens. Because if it's going to react, it'll probably react right there. I believe that is one of the attachments. Let me show you anatomically. Then we'll put a little little hydrogen peroxide on there and see if that spot reacts. Alright, the ball that we're looking at is this, and the hole, that little pocket we're looking at is that, and the little bump we're looking at is one of these here. And we're going to try to put a little, because that will have a membrane around these. They should have membranes around them. Membranes are going to have catalase in it. That's their function, is to protect you using that the catalase. And we're going to try to invade that catalase with hydrogen peroxide and see if it reacts. Alright, I'm going to show you something. You remember these two spots? Look up here in the microscope. I believe these are the two spots we're looking at right here. I think it's this one and this one. It might be this one and this one. I'm not sure. Let's move around. I believe it's these two right here, this one and this one. I'm almost 100% sure that's one of them. And I believe that's, you know, it might even be over here. You don't know. It's hard to tell. Let's put a little catalase in there, hydrogen peroxide, and see what happens. All right, I'm going to put a little in there. We're way off now, so we're going to have to come way down in a second. But let me put it on here, and it'll take a second to react anyway. We're going right in off the surface. Normally, I would scratch and cut down inside there, but I got a feeling we're going to see catalase coming out of this one. Hold on. I'm right up close now. I got to focus in. Will it be there or not? Will we see bubbles? Tiny bubbles. Absolutely, I'm seeing them. Hold on. I've got to focus in. Hold on. You see the bubbles? Oh man, I'm having a hard time focusing. Hold on, we're going to get this right. We are going to get this right. I will not give up. You see all the bubbles? Why I'm having such a hard time focusing? I do not know. Actually, that's not too bad. You see all those bubbles? That's from the catalase that's in the living enzymes. Well, enzymes aren't really alive, but they were created by bacteria. And the bacteria live in the membranes and create this specific, extremely elegant molecule. Unbelievably elegant. And the only way you can make it is with bacteria. So the only way we can have this thing have this reaction is because there was living biology down in there. All right, let's see if we can see where the catalase is bubbling and reacting. I thought for sure it would be right up in this area somewhere here, right in that spot. You really can't see it from this far off. You got to be right down on top of it. Alright, so this is the well, and that right there is the stalk as far as I'm concerned. That is the stalk. And I can see all the catalase coming out of that, the foam coming out of that area. You can't see it really because it's too small to see from this far away. But, well, that's where it is, trust me. We're right on top of it. Let's see if we can get a reaction now. Okay, this is that spot where it breaks away. It's the abrupt transition. Now watch around in here and see if you can see any bubbles coming up. Give it a second. It really eats them up quick. I believe this is the area I saw him before. I can see him. You probably can't see him. I can see him. I'm probably going to have to come in a little closer. Very hard to see this stuff. Very difficult. You need a good microscope, and this one really isn't all that powerful, to be honest with you, but it's enough to usually see most everything. Let's see if we can see any bubbles. I'm seeing little bits and pieces, which is what I would expect from something like this. These are tough. They don't have a lot of blood in them. They don't have a lot of enzymes. But I am seeing a little bit of catalyzed reaction. See the bubbles coming up? Alright, so this is my claim, is that this hollowed out area has the stalk coming out of it where I showed you, just like that one right there. Same thing. Now the other thing is, look at, that's the bump, and here's the little crater. And look at all the same debris, virtually identical. I mean, it couldn't be any closer. That's the cavity where, and look at all the stony material. That's exactly the same stony material that's all over that asteroid. What's all that stuff doing there? It's identical. And that's what happens, is they have these things on here when they implant into something so that they're secure and they won't rip out. Just exactly like I showed you in the anatomical. That's that grippy stuff. It's the same stuff as that as this. It's the same thing. And these are moons and everything. I'm just telling you, we live in a biological universe. It's hard for anybody to wrap their mind around, just as it was for me. But sooner or later, you're going to have to come around to reality, my good friends. Okay, my exceptionally, outstandingly intelligent friends. Let's do a little biology. What is that? Well, it's a hand. Only it's this type of hand. Now, what are you looking at there? That is the blood supply. One side of each finger has an artery, and the other side is the vein. The vein brings the used blood back up to the heart to be, pumped around and cleaned up. Then it sends it down the artery. The artery is very red and really wet and just red. And the vein is black and hard and has clamps. They have valves in them. So let's say this is the vein. Every so often, it's going to have a little valve just like this. And a valve like this. And another one like this. And what do? They let the blood go this way, but if it tries to go back, it says, no, you can't go back. So that is why the veins don't blow out. You see, that's a fingertip. That's a fingertip. You see those little two spots right there? Those are the veins on the side. They all have two on the side that are veins. And they have two on the side that are arteries. The arteries blow right out. You see the artery ones? It blew right out. So arteries are gone. And they ran right out. The veins are still plugged up because they have clamps. Now this is a terrestrial fingertip. I have one that came through space, another fingertip, a little bigger, identical situation. You see that black spot right there? That's the artery, the vein. That one up there is the vein here. You see this? That hook and this hook? They are both fingertips. You see the tip and the tip? If you can't see the similarity, I don't know what I can say. And on this side, they both blew out their red blood. This one exploded coming through space. This is a meteorite. And it burnt off everything, leaving some very, very interesting patterns that are in the bones and so forth. It sort of just bleached off all of the fleshy stuff. This still has it on there, but it's flattened out like a pancake. This one came through space, didn't flatten out, but exploded the wet red blood out the side. This one just leaked out. Both identical. Even this pattern right here is the same as this pattern. They both have the blood ran out. They both have the hook on it. They both have the vein side. I mean, it is what it is. They're both fingertips. Now, one is a little bigger, you know, than mine. It's semi bigger. This one's bigger than this one. But they fall exactly into the pattern of the human blood vessels and arteries and veins. Now, let's look at them in the microscope. Okay, that's the terrestrial fingertip. It's in the microscope right now. Now, it is feldspar. You see that right there? That's the lung that I had DNA tested and CAT scan and all that stuff. That's feldspar too. And the one that I have in the microscope here, there it is right there. It's the same. Their feldspar is 60% of everything. Okay, I got a bit interrupted, but I think I showed you this, which is the feldspar on the fingertip, the terrestrial one. Now, we have the one from space right here that I'll be showing you shortly. See Caesar here, same thing. All collagens are feldspar. And they wrap the organs, they wrap the skin, they wrap the, you know, everything. And then inside is the basalt and the other igneous rocks and all the other stuff. But mostly everything on the face of the earth basically is, I think it's like 60% is feldspar. And feldspar is aluminum silicates, and aluminum silicates are formed strictly because of invading the collagens. This can be done. I don't have the facilities to do this chemistry, but if somebody wanted to prove me wrong, they could try it and see. But I can tell you what, that's a goose. And I'm going to show you what he looks like in the microscope. I just showed you the feldspar here. Let's take a look at Caesar. Let's take a look at Caesar. Well, you know, let's look right at his feathers. These are the feathers. All right, you see the feather pattern? His feathers are going to be the same stuff. Watch. I got to turn off this light. It's just a smidge different, but it's not much different. See up there? Look. Now let me turn the lights down a little bit so that it'll be more obvious. And actually, if I wet it a little bit, all right, he's like a goose out of water. Or is that a duck? All right, hold on. There it is right there. Now, that's the feldspar. As soon as it dries up a little bit, it'll look really feldspar-ish. And those are feathers. That's feathers. All right, so we got a little bit of difference, but not much. There's a dry spot. You see it? That's the same, basically the same identical stuff. But it's feathers. But feathers are also collagen. Anything coats you from the outside surface of the world or from between organs and layers of organs like this lung. That's all feldspar too. And it all happened because of a hot saltwater flood because we almost got hit by Venus. Now all the experts say, oh, we all figured it out now. It's because of hydrothermal vents cooked these things and they became solid. It was only one little spot in Ireland. No, it's all over the world. And I just put this out 10, 12 years ago. So it's time to start looking at this for reality. Look at the blood coming out. You can get blood out of rocks all day long. No problem to get blood out of a stone. But that's the space fingertip that I'm saying came through space. And here it is in the microscope. Now, it's a little hard to see, but you can see the fabric of basically the skin. And those little round black spots are the interstitium balls. Hold on. It cooked up pretty good. Let me see if I can find a place that didn't get it's seared up in certain areas and not too bad in other areas. But it is absolutely, it's a fingertip. If you couldn't see that, I don't know what to say. Now, I believe there will be DNA in this. I am adverse to doing any more DNA tests. I had 3 of them done, and I decided not to do any more. And the prices have come way down, so I am I don't know what to do, to be honest with you. But at this point, I'm not going to do any more. Now, this is where it cooked up. You see this area got really fried? It just happens to be, I believe, where there's more red blood, it fried up more. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest with you. But there's spots that are really cooked, like right there. And then right next to it, it's not bad at all. It looked like this could be the artery, the vein blood. That's what it looks like to me now. That's vein blood working its way out and over the top of the red blood. Yeah, that's what it is, you see it? That's the black blood, this is the red blood. So it's an invasion of the red area just because it's boiling out and being pushed back as it came through space, apparently.